This map and mission was created by mod maker Pershing. You can download the mission from the description down below. Enjoy the rest of the video. During the Okinawa campaign, one of the islands that was attacked by the US was Ie Shima, known to the Americans as Ie Shima. The beaches of Ie Shima were burning. The Japanese withstood the first wave of invaders as the black sandy beach was covered in smoldering wrecks and bodies. The second wave had reached the shore to reinforce the soldiers who were pinned down. The beach provided little cover as they left the safety of their water vehicles. The reinforcements were effective in taking some of the Japanese defenders out. Both the right and the left flank started to push as the deadly machine gun nests were taken out. The Americans were forced to use the wrecks and armor as cover to avoid being shredded. Many Japanese were still dug in well and kept the US soldiers from advancing. The smoke and bad weather made it difficult to seek out targets effectively. The bunkered machine gun nests had limited vision, and the American right flank tried to make a harder push. On the left flank, the Americans had trouble getting up the beach due to the anti-tank weapons. Little progress was made as the wrecks obstructed the American armor from moving. This made them easy targets for the Japanese anti-armor, crippling them as a result. With the smoke clearing, the Americans concentrated much of their fire on the central force of the Japanese defenders. While keeping them under constant fire, the US was able to advance. They were finally able to destroy the remaining AT gun and headed into the jungle. The Japanese now found themselves pinned down, but were still able to fend some of the Americans off. The Americans had rigged the barbed wire with explosives so the infantry and armor could roll out and head deeper into the island. Behind the beach lay the clearing, where US armor would be essential to cross safely. But the Japanese had of course set up many AT defenses, meaning that the infantry would need to help take it out. First, it was just machine gun fire, but soon after, they got blasted with shells, sending bodies flying. The wide open area made it no problem for the Japanese to hit the enemy armor. But even crippled, many of the tanks still functioned and were considered very lethal. The short distance between the two sides meant that many of the Japanese infantry got taken out quickly. The ones who were holed up in the remains of a bunker stood no chance, as the Americans were basically on top of them. With most of the infantry out of the way, the only remaining threat were the still functioning AT weapons. But they were too few to do real damage, and got destroyed by the Shermans. It was now up to the soldiers to gain and secure positions. They spread out over the area, some hiding behind cover, and some getting into the trenches. The Japanese who were still holed up in some of them got surrounded quickly. The US lost many of its armored vehicles, but managed to gain sustainable footing on the island. the Japanese lay dead, but the steep rocks prevented the armor from continuing. Nearby shallow openings provided a way for the army to proceed towards the airfield. But here, the Japanese had set up defensive positions as well, including their armored units and heaviest artillery. They were not going to give Ie Shima airfield up that easily.